we have been seeing some wonderful videos, or you can clock them, on the Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch, and you've been watching that video there, haven't
They
you?
are extraordinary. Like I said, if you go to the Manx Radio Facebook page, I shared one of them this morning. And basically, from what I understand, and we're going to find out more in just a moment, it is a mother dolphin and juvenile dolphin, but they are basically coming so close to shore. It's essentially the place where I would go paddling, and you can see these dolphins just leaping around, sort of getting their dinner essentially. And there's some fabulous videos to watch, so do go watch the video. But we thought it would be worth heading west to find out some more, didn't we, Howard?
Yes, and we thought we'd see if we could get Jen Adams, who's over there. You there in the shop this afternoon, Jen?
Hi there, Howard. Yes, I'm in the shop today. I've got it closed at the moment with my back to the window so nobody comes in and destroys our interview.
And you, of course, are an Outreach and Education Officer over at Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch, so people will know your face around about the place.
Yes, I'm very well known, especially around Peel. I get around lots of the island's primary schools and do lots and lots of talks to the youngsters, which is amazing. Always get such a good response and positive vibes.
So tell us a bit more about these. So it is, as I understand, is it one pair, a mother and calf, that were being spotted in Peel?
Yes, so a mother and juvenile now. The youngster is 10 months old, and it's fantastic because we've actually been able to track this youngster since it was newly born in September last year. So the pair of them have been coming so close inshore so frequently since September that we can get some really, really amazing sightings of them. And they haven't really ventured very far south or around to the east. They're predominantly being seen in Peel Bay, but also all the way up along the northwest coast. And they have ventured round to Ramsey a couple of times in the last month or so.
And is that, Jen, are they doing that because, I'm assuming it must be food, I'm guessing, but is it also a little bit safer? Is there a reason why they're staying around those areas?
Well, yes. So we imagine that the mother found out about the likes of Peel Bay, perhaps when she was pregnant with the baby, and she realised that it seemed like a really safe environment to bring her youngster up in. And obviously was scouting around and found out there's quite a lot of food there as well. And she does seem to be staying really, really close in. I mean, it could be for protection, but also they seem to have developed a really interesting hunting method using the beaches at relatively low tides. They're coming in about sort of mid-tide, about 2 hours after it's low, and really driving fish onto the edge of the beach just to essentially trap them to make easy pickings.
Is there not a chance, though, because looking at it, they are so close from those videos, and you see them sort of leaping.
Yeah, they're just feet out.
But is there not a chance that they could potentially get in some trouble themselves and maybe beach themselves if they're that close?
No, I don't think so. I mean, bottlenose dolphins are unbelievably intelligent animals. The only time they really get in trouble and do end up beaching themselves is if the animal itself is ill. If they know they're ill, then they'll come out onto the beaches. But these two will actually be using that low tide just to fish.
Wow, and it's such an incredible sight. I'm guessing, though, it would be so tempting to want to sort of go in there with them, but I'm assuming we should try and steer clear and stay as far away as possible.
Yes, always keep your distance. If we do start seeing people venturing into the sea, then we'll have to have words, because you need to let them go about their own business. I mean, they're perfectly happy doing what they're doing so close inshore, and we really need to respect that and to not interfere with them at all. Just watch from the coastline, and honestly, you don't need binoculars. They are literally within like 1 or 2 meters of the beach, opposite the kiosk on the prom. And they seem to be using the area between the beach there, opposite the kiosk, and the groin to kind of like herd fish in, to almost essentially trap them in that area of water so they can't escape.
And how long do you think they're likely to be around for? Will it come a point where the juvenile is old enough to sort of move on, and then they might sort of move out of our waters?
We really don't know, you see. I mean, we've been studying whales and dolphins now around the Isle of Man since 2007, and this is the first time that we've ever known of what we can consider a temporarily resident mother and calf in Manx waters. So we don't know what they're going to do and what will happen. I mean, a calf can stay with its mother for around about 2 years, as sort of 5 years, in fact. So it depends if it's a boy or a girl, we don't know yet. If it's a male, he's likely just to, at some point, just leave the mum and go out and seek independence. If it's a female, then perhaps she'll stay with the mother even when she's an adult herself. The really interesting point will be during the autumn and winter when we see the big pods of bottlenose dolphins coming up to the Isle of Man from Wales. So it'll be interesting if they associate with these two and to see what happens and how they interact and whether they just stay far away from them or what.
And how have the numbers been generally for the likes of the cetaceans? Because we were hearing a few weeks back, and it's been on the news recently, of course, that the basking shark numbers have been incredibly low this year compared to previous years. Are the cetaceans, are their numbers holding up? And obviously it's sort of different species or different food species they're chasing, and they are different animals altogether, mammals rather than fish. But how are the cetacean sightings?
Doing really, really well. Pretty steady. The numbers are they're good. They're on par with average of what you'd expect to see this year. This is the dolphins and the porpoises. We haven't had many sightings of minke whales this summer. However, we think that that's probably more to do with the fact that they're hanging out slightly further offshore. Because, of course, we haven't got anyone sailing over from islands that we typically would, so nobody's doing that crossing and actually seeing the whales. So, it really is to do with kind of where they are and who's out there spotting as well.
It is fascinating seeing the wonderful video. Just before you go, I think you've been working on a new website as well, is that right?
Yes, so I'm currently making a sort of mini website dedicated just to this mother and juvenile, and it's to compile all of the sightings data, maps that we have where each sighting is sort of plotted per month, and also all of the fantastic video and photographs that we've been sent in over the last 10 months. So it'll really be kind of an ongoing method of documenting this mother and juvenile for the extent of time that they stay around the Isle of Man. So that will go live hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and I will let everybody know.
Excellent. And I know you said you don't know yet whether it's a male or female, but have you given the pair any ideas for names yet?
No, this is actually something that we're thinking about. What would be lovely is when we get this website for them up and running, to maybe run a competition looking at names for the baby and the adult. We need to think about how we're going to do it yet, but as yet they are unnamed.
Oh, there you go.
Marvellous. Well, thanks ever so much for talking to us.
You're welcome.
If people want to find out more, of course, they can go along. So the shop is there in Peel, and if they want to find out more about the work of the charity Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch, maybe get a sweatshirt and such like. When are you open?
At the moment, we're open on Saturdays from 10 till 4. In the school holidays, I'll be open 2 or 3 days a week, but again, hours to be confirmed. But you can find out on our website and on our Facebook page. And do follow us on Facebook because we put up regular updates of sightings and events that we're going on. And generally, if you want to find us online, just go into Google and type in Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch and we'll be the first ones on the list.